What are they doing?
I know, so I was like,
What film are they in?
Gavel time.
It's salt and
in the gavel.
Do
Really?
You have a gavel for a reason.
I hate the gavel.
See, they responded.
I know. I don't like using it. Okay, it is 6:02 on Wednesday, October 11th. I called the Beecher October board meeting to order, noting the absence of Brandy Flores and Larry Herman. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of September 11th, 2023, the tax hearing and special board meeting minutes of September 25th, 2023, and the Facilities and Finance Committee meeting minutes of October 4th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Belk,
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Flickling,
Yes.
Buchenko,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
October 2023 expenses just in the packet that was emailed. So I need a motion to approve the October 2023 expenses as submitted. So moved.
Second.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flickling,
Yes.
Buchenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Belk.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Treasurer's report.
Alrighty. Balance in the supernaut account at the end of September was $6,579,876.62. Checks outstanding total $39,608.50. September payroll expense carryover $37,705.28, leaving the adjusted bank balance at month end at $6,502,562.84. Lunch program balance $24,099.76. Impress fund, $5,000, leaving the total at $6,531,662.60. The investment balances were $4,216,904.83, leaving the balance of all funds as of September 30 at $10,748,567.43. September receipts totaled $3,757,945.64, and expenses $1,258,402.04. Individual fund balances ended like as follows: education fund $7,331,343.68, building fund $1,002,663.84, bond and interest negative $74,261.86. Transportation fund, $1,029,421.69. IMRF, $284,477.73. Working cash fund, $262,984.97. Tort fund balance, $330,970.29. Life safety, $580,967.09. September interest totaled $16,598.51. Received a handful of distributions from the state. State aid totaled $314,122 even. School lunch, $18,167.97. Driver education, $2340.91. Special ed orphanage, $56,243.90. State free lunch, $611.15. Title I, $12,322, and the ESSER digital quality, $24,000 even. And we had two real estate distributions. Number 6 for $2,901,428.51, and distribution number 7 for $381,985.90. These fund balances are in your packet.
Does anyone have any questions? All right, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Missouri,
Yes.
Lickling,
Yes.
Yuchenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, I have no request for comments, but we do have a couple teams for recognition tonight. We have the junior high girls softball team.
Dr. Quasi, would you like to introduce the coach?
Sure. Here are our championship coaches, Coach Weavers and Coach Packens.
All right. Did a great job this year. The kids were just tremendous downstairs, because you never know how teams are going to react when they get downstairs. And they were really, really good. Won 6-0 the first game downstairs, 6-0 the second game downstate, and then 4-1, right, 4-1 the last game downstate. So they really dominated hits, runs, and played really, really well on defense, and really proud of them. They're not here tonight because they make up a lot of the other teams. They're involved, they play basketball, they play volleyball, and they're good three-sport athletes that just keep working at it so that they continue to get better their skills and be underneath other guidances, other coaches, and can react to different situations. So really, really did your school really proud of how they played down there. Coach Packers, I know she's got a lot to say.
Just thank you for having us tonight. We appreciate all the support.
What?
If I'm not mistaken, I know one of them had forfeits, but 2 of the 3 teams you beat in that state series were undefeated, correct?
Actually, all 3 of them were undefeated. Everybody keeps asking about the third team's record, but they were playing somebody that wasn't supposed to be playing because her mother was going back and forth with this, let's strike that, so I'll get in trouble. Somebody was not legally playing on the team correctly, so they were undefeated also. And so it was fun beating 3 undefeated teams, pretty much so.
Well, congratulations to the girls and their parents, and I look forward to seeing what they do when they get up to high school also.
Thank you.
And then we have the high school boys golf team here. I know they went to state also.
Thank you for making this conference this evening, since I missed out on some other opportunities. We had a lot of fun this year, record-setting group of guys. We don't have everybody here with us right now. We won 6 tournaments. We set a scoring record for the school, shooting .307, is that right, guys? We have multiple RBC conference champions or all-conference kids. We have kids that placed in the top 4 in regionals. We went to sectionals and made it through. We went to state and did not play our best, but we competed and we finished higher than we ever finished before. This is the 3rd appearance in the last 5 years for us in state. And these guys make themselves proud every time they go out there and represent the school the way that they did. We, unfortunately, I think we didn't play well in state because we did not get a very important piece of garb that we ordered for these kids 8 weeks ago. If somebody would like to hold one up, there are these really cool Beecher scorecard holders, and I'm convinced had we had those, that with the magic in those scorecard holders, our scores would have been a little bit better. But they did show up today. Perfect timing after everything was said and done. I'm proud of these guys. I think our program continues to improve through the hard work and dedication that the players put into it, the parents allow the kids to get involved because it takes a lot of summer work, support from the school board, the support from the administration to allow us to yank these kids out of school so many times during the course of the week. It's very difficult on them academically. It's difficult on the teachers to keep up with them and through their good graces allow them to continue to turn in homework after they need to. And these athletes, more than many others in my opinion, have to go above and beyond because of the rigorous schedule that they keep and we keep. And that schedule is vital to the growth of the program. You know, there's other people in this room that have had their kids go through this program before and they know what that's about. And these young men, if they can manage these things during the course of the beginning of the school year, which is always a very difficult thing, I think they're going to go on and be successful because of their experiences. So I congratulate all these young men on the hard work that they put in this year, and hope that they have great luck and fortune in golf or academically in their college. I'll tell you what, you guys. Shoot him on our volunteer assistant when we don't make any comments. He's always very shy in these situations. Cookies.
This is my 11th year. This is the best team I've been around, not only skill-wise, but how they get along together. And I'm not a very integral part of this. This is the guy that knows it all. And these guys listen to him, and that's why they're successful. So I'm just glad to be around, try to help out as much as I can. I hope 2 more years so I can retire when I'm 80.
And then next up, staff reports.
Did you want to offer a dismissal to our young people?
Oh.
As much as they might
Yeah.
like a civic experience,
True.
they
Yeah.
may have other
So the
things.
golf team, if you would like to leave, you are more than welcome to if you don't feel like staying at this group.
Thank you.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, they didn't come, they said. Okay, first up for our staff report is Miss Black.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to hit a couple of highlights. Under student highlights on my report, we have a whole lot of things going on this month. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a torrential downpour on Friday, when we're supposed to have our bounce houses for our first PBIS celebration. So our PBIS team is meeting tomorrow. We're going to kind of come up with an alternate plan, see if we can reach out to the company and we can do that again without causing a whole upheaval of everything that's going on. We have Aaron's Law presentations that are happening, along with our visit to the fire department, and of course, all of our Halloween activities, the parade and parties that will be happening on the 31st. The only other thing I wanted to highlight not last week, week before, myself and 3 other teachers went to a workshop that was offered by ISB that was entitled Unpacking the IAR Results to Inform Instructional Practices. It was very eye-opening. It was really great. Actually, one of the things that we had talked about as a staff when we started looking at scores and talking about how we can raise those, that back in the day when lots of us became teachers, there were lots of trainings that we used to go to about ISAP or IAP or, how to, get the kids prepared, make sure that you as teachers knew what was going to be on there, how to best instruct for that. And they really haven't done anything like that for IAR. They have things online. You can look at, old test questions and things like that. But this workshop we found, and it was very insightful. So it showed us how to look at our scores differently, how to look at the evidence statements, how to take that and put it into our instructions. So those of us who went were really excited to sit down, work on that a little bit further, and then we're going to be presenting that to staff at the end of the month. Any questions? Great, thanks.
Dr. Bosny.
Good evening. I just wanted to share a few things on the board report. So one is that Bobcat Pride has started meeting and has already started some fun initiatives. They're doing Fun Fridays. The kids had a blast. They colored giant posters. They had volleyball and basketball games going. They had giant Uno and Jenga and all kinds of fun things. So that was really neat. They have a lot of other things planned, including they're selling like swag bags for like spiritware and things for a fundraiser. So they're excited about that. And Student Council has also been meeting, and they're kind of planning their initiatives for the year too. They did some fun little videos to kind of introduce themselves to all of the rest of the student body and the teachers who they don't have, so that was neat. So they're getting ready to plan some things as well. And we wanted to definitely mention that our parent-teacher conferences, the end of the quarter is this Friday. Parent-teacher conference information has been sent out. So we're really encouraging all parents to take advantage of that and to please sign up to come and meet with us on the 26th and the 27th. And lastly, I wanted to highlight something kind of cool we came across, the mental health awareness walk that we did at the end of the year last year. It was featured in Alyssa's mission as a spotlight on Beecher Junior High School, so I thought that was kind of cool. I added that. So, you know, as we're getting the mail, oh, that's us. So that was kind of neat for the Mental Health Awareness Week that the staff did with the help of Mrs. Rojas and other staff members as well. So that, and Pride as well. So that was a cool thing that we got to see, and we hope to do that in the future again. Does anyone have any questions?
I know Miss Black's report, she noted that Officer Hansen had done his first kind of round of lessons at her school. Has he done any at the junior high yet?
Yes,
Okay.
he has. He's done, and I actually meant to include that, and I'll include it for next month. He did push into some health lessons with Miss Packus, and I will highlight those for next month. He did a few days in there.
Okay.
And I think they had to kind of reschedule it first because some things came up, but then he did end up pushing it, so I'll share that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Meyer.
Oh, I can touch on that too. He does, he has done driver's ed for us. He is gonna get into health. He has not done PE though yet.
Okay.
So, I want to just touch, again, I know I've talked about some of our AP scholars the last time, and I think I'll be done after this board report, because I do know that, talking to Dr. Gaham, our math scores need to get better, and that will be addressed, I think, in January, February, whenever we do it. So I'd like to point out, we have 7 kids on this College Board National Recognition Program. And then I think the next paragraph is, since I've been here, this is the first time that I've had anybody that are commended students, so Hayden Moore and Ethan Palmisano, for the National Merit Scholarship. So commended being recognized for exceptional academic promise. So great kids, they've done really well, obviously grade point average and their test scores. But they don't get to move on. And I'm gonna make this number, I shouldn't even say it, but it's like 50,000 people, go for it, and like 16,000 now are left to try to get the merit scholarship. So from the 50,000 or whatever it was in our whole nation, that's pretty good for 2 kids. And again, I apologize if the numbers aren't perfect, but it was a lot down to small, and I think they did a really nice job. So I wanted to just recognize those guys. I'd also like to recognize that we did CPI training. So the 3 of us, and again, it's mandatory with SOIC, and so it's de-escalation. We're trying to learn techniques for de-escalation instead of, I don't want to say instead of escalating every situation, but trying. In these times, de-escalation is important if we can. Just learning, and again, it's not about the holds that you learn; it's more about the techniques. But at the end, it is about the holds that you learn if you need to do certain things. So I've done it the last 2 years. I think Mrs. Black, you've had to do it every year for however long, I'm assuming. No,
A while.
I know, and so it is good. But now I think, according to Mrs. Compton, we have to do it like every year to stay certified. So again, I guess the more times you do it, it's just reactionary to do it correctly compared to just jumping in and doing what you need to do to break things up. So I appreciate the district allowing SOIC to come to our place. We didn't have to go to Joliet this year. They came to our small gym and worked with us from 8:30 to 3:30 or something like that. So.
How many people did we have attend? Like, is it just admin or okay?
No, we had
social
work. We had social workers from every building. We had we had a teacher, a special ed teacher from every building. Us, Mr. Ogden. So, and Mrs. Compton, so I don't know if we had 20, 15.
Okay. It's always good. That's always the problem, is you only end up having 1 or 2 in the building by the time they get, the more, it's easier to be able to do it quickly.
4 from the high school. So Mr. Jacobs, Mr. Ogden, Ms. Heiss, and myself. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So, and being taller and bigger, it's interesting how the ladies like, well, you have to do this, you have to do this, but it's like, if these kids are here, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this, you know, like just little things like that, and like, oh, I always forget about you guys. No, they really do a nice job, so I just want to again thank the
Mr.
district.
Meyer, I thought we de-escalated you quite
Oh.
well.
So, yes, you did. Thank you for that. Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Dr. Gahan.
So, a couple of things. First, at the time I sent my report, there was 0 FOIAs, and like always, when I send things off, we got a commercial one today from some random company wanted to know about our insurance. Yeah, wanted to know about our insurance stuff. So, that's gonna be handled over the next few days and be taken care of. In terms of some additional things, the report card has not officially come out, the Illinois State Report Card, but all, 2 of the 3 alluded to it. I can tell you this, all 3 schools, once again, will be commendable. And as Mr. Meyer pointed out, the area we need to focus on is our math scores. So one of the things that I'm working with Dr. Kwasny and Mr. Meyer on in the near future is, at the elementary, as Ms. Block said, she has that win time where she can really focus on those IAR skills and try to work specifics to those students. At the junior high and high school, we really don't have intervention blocks, if you will. We have study halls. And so we're going to try to find ways that we can start incorporating basically test prep. I know you're not supposed to teach the tests, but the only thing that the world seems to matter when it comes to judging a school is the test. And so we're going to make sure that we do everything we can to prep those kids for that test, whether it's looking to do some online programming, purchasing some things. I don't know if we're going to do that. College Board has free test questions, examinations. We have a new math teacher who's heading the junior levels, and so he may have some ideas. So over the coming months, the plan is to get those things addressed and start hitting those harder. I'm not ignoring the ELA scores, but our ELA scores are a heck of a lot better than our math scores. And in my world, I need to figure out what's going on with math and try to get some of those things solved. So the administration's been great so far. We're going to start addressing that.
Well, I think that the biggest problems are that their written response for the math, like you, especially in elementary, I know it's hard, is they have to explain their thinking and they have to type that.
Yep.
And that's what's hard for the children to do, is they can't just put, it's 38 plus 25 and say, here's what the answer is. They have to say, first you go to the ones place. And I mean, we were talking paragraphs for an answer. And getting the kids to do that, it's like pulling teeth. I mean, like you said, practice and repetition and making to where it's normal, but still. Getting them to actually do it when it's test day is difficult for every school. I've noticed if you look everywhere, math scores are not great for the entire state. And it's, I think it's the test. It's just hard to get them to do that.
I was gonna say, why do they make them, 3rd graders can't do math?
Well, and it's timed.
Time.
So it's a time test. So there's only so many questions, like, it's hard.
And not only that, is 8 years ago, IAR went all online. So not only did we have to do answers, we had to learn how to use manipulatives on the computer.
On the computer, like, they can't have, like, before, you know, they could draw it out, you could work it.
Yeah.
No, now it's all on the computer, where you gotta teach them how to use the click and drag. I mean,
That seems.
it's hard, and the problem is, like you said, you don't really wanna teach to the test because it takes so much time away from the actual instruction. But if you don't, then your scores are bad, and everyone judges the school based on scores.
Right.
And the good news with that is they've now moved the PSAT at least, if not the SAT, online as well. So it was so successful 8 years ago that they just figured, why not rolling it out? So that was sarcasm, it wasn't welcome, I apologize. The other big thing that I wanted to mention, Mr. Meyer and Dr. Crosby both had coaches involved in this. So one of the IHSA, well, not IESA, but IESA as well, requirements is that a coach has to be trained on CPR in order for them to be on the bench. And so we had 31 coaches, 20 of them were getting recertified, as in they're actually getting their Red Cross card, and 11 were trained by Beecher Fire Department. Mr. Cook came over with three of his officers and three or four of them. So they did a really nice training for our 31 staff members. It took a couple hours. They got it taken care of, and so we now have all 31 of our coaches at both the high school and junior high level trained in CPR of some
Is that
sort.
still good for 2 years?
So if you have the card, yes, the recertification is good for 2 years. The ones who are trained are not CPR certified,
Okay.
but they know
But they don't have the
generally,
card,
yes,
okay.
correct. So,
And AED too, wouldn't
an AED, yes, yep. Yep. So those were kind of the big things that came around this month.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? We're just moving along.
Love it.
Okay, so we have our committee updates. KCC doesn't meet until November, but they do have their sophomore open house tomorrow. The kids go, all the sophomores go that are interested in the program for next year, and then the parents can go from 5 to 7 down to the KCC if their children are interested in going. What else do we have? PTO?
There wasn't any new updates. They're doing, like the blanket fundraiser, which I think we have to thank. The blankets are very soft and very warm and very huge. And, so I recommend that. But actually, I don't think that's the PTO. I think that's just the school.
Is it just the
Is it
elementary?
just the- Okay.
Okay, and you can get them, I know, even if you're not an elementary student, they do have them in all of the offices, in the junior high and the high school. So if you're listening and you want your kid to grab one, just send them to the office.
But no other.
Okay, the BYC, do they have anything?
Yeah, so last month I met, I said we were having our fundraiser coming up, so I just wanted to say that that was very successful, and thank you to everybody who came out and all the businesses that donated baskets, because that's really gonna help fund a lot of programs. Our next event, it's the, what are we calling it? It's a Glow bike ride, on the Glow. And that will be coming up on October 20th. We did put flyers, thanks to Ms. Black, in the Friday folders. The elementary always helps out with that. So that should be a lot of fun. And then our next meeting is next Tuesday. It's always the third Tuesday of the month. It's at the Village Hall at 7:30. If anyone's interested in coming out to find out more about us, or we're always looking for volunteers, that's where you'll find us. So we hope to see you. That's all I have.
And then the Booster Club?
We have our next meeting Sunday. The only big thing is the Fall Fun Fest, Boo Fest we're doing on Friday the 27th. So there's gonna be a bags tournament and then a bunch of fun family events as well as adult events. So I know they're gonna offer community service hours for students. So people can just go to the Booster Club Facebook page and message. or
Do they need
comment.
tickets for that, or just show up?
They can just show up.
Okay.
I think, and then it's a donation, but there's food, games, raffles, we've gotten donations, auction. So there'll just be a lot of things, there'll be crafts and games for the kids. And then for a couple hours, and then the rest of the night, there'll be music and food. So it should be fun, and it'll just be at Fireman's Park,
Oh.
under the banner thing is, and the entrance.
Okay. Scholarship Committee, you had your first meeting, right?
Yes, we did. So there was a change to the scholarships that are to be offered to the students this year. Originally, there was the four-year college scholarship that the students can apply for, and then there's the community college / vocational schools. What we did was we actually made a third one for anyone who's going to the trades. So they can apply for a scholarship as well. So we have the 4-year, the 2-year community college, and then as well as the trades. So we'll be talking to Mr. Snarsk, let me say his name correctly, about advertising that and making sure that that is known to all the students, since that is a newer one, to make sure that they do apply for that scholarship.
Okay, moving on to old business.
Indeed we are.
Okay, so HVAC project for the junior high school. So that the facilities meeting last week, that was discussed. All of the different options were looked at by that committee, and they put forth what they would like us to do. It was emailed to you, what the cost is and what it contains to add AC to the junior high, change the ventilation to cut out the humidity issues we're having, and update the lighting to LED. Does anyone have any questions on that, or need any more additional clarification or anything?
So was this including, because they had the check on the two?
The leak, yes, they
So
found the leak, it was fixable.
And so this is not
yes.
including that stuff?
Correct,
Yeah,
this
it
is
doesn't
only
need-
Just
A,
that-
yep, A, the
Yeah.
classrooms, the
And then that D
cafeteria, and the
Mhm.
gym, and then resizing all the ventilators. So it's A and D.
Yeah, on that list. Okay, so a motion to approve the HVAC project for junior high school.
So moved.
Second.
Flickman.
Yes.
Yuchенko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Do we have a reason for executive session?
I do not have a particular reason this time around, so.
Okay.
Unless anyone here does.
I don't think so.
None of your hires would require any background information, of course.
So our new business is for the engagement of Stifle for bonding. So last week at the Finance Committee meeting, along with the HVAC, we discussed how to pay for the HVAC. So we had the options that we discussed were saving for the next 5 years and paying cash, so not doing it for 5 years, doing it and pulling the money out of reserves, or doing it and engaging in the bond company, which the thing that we liked the best with them was the debt certificates, which that was emailed out, a rough estimate of what that would cost us. By voting to, or making a motion to vote to approve the engagement, it doesn't mean we're locking in that we're doing that, but it means that we'll get more concrete numbers. Correct?
Correct, so you guys
Okay.
just approved a $1.8 million HVAC project.
Yes.
The motion you all just made. And so the conversation you had at finance was a $2.1 million debt certificate. And for those who weren't watching that particular night, just to kind of do a quick recap of what that means, is a debt certificate is a non-levied certificate. So it does not require any additional monies from the community. You're not asking for any tax additions, or you're not looking to up anyone's taxes. If you did that, that would actually be the alternate revenue bond, and that would only be as a holder in case of default. So between those two options, it made clear sense to go with the debt certificates, because then you're not going out to the community and saying, hey, you all just did a really good thing by passing this referendum. We also need you to back it up. So what the debt certificate allows you to do is you allocate a certain fund. The one we're probably going to allocate is the PPRT. You give a certain dollar amount, and at the time of the finance meeting, when we discussed it, we told them that PPRT at $300,000. You allocate that amount of money every year to pay towards the bond, and in 10 years it's paid off. That was the conversation they had at the finance meeting. So when you were now engaging with Stifle, you were not telling me, or you're not directing me to go to them and say, hey, we want, in addition to that, we also added the roof project to it for about $170,000. So that's where you got to about 2.1. You had a little bit of cushion there just in case the rooftop units. Now that we know the firm number on HVAC and we have a rough idea, and we know the rooftop units aren't in, you can go back and say, we don't need 2.1, we can do 2. So that will bring that down just a little bit as well. The rate that they have today that sold them might be different when they actually go out and bid it. So that's option one. I also can go in and say, we only want to sell $1 million in bonds, and we're going to hold reserves for the other $1 million. So that's a conversation you guys can have in the future. So don't think by you saying engage means that we're selling bonds right now. That wouldn't happen until January.
Yeah, it's just getting more concrete numbers to further the conversation so we can actually make a good decision with the most information possible. So I need a motion to approve Dr. Gaham to engage with Stifle for bonding services.
So moved.
Second?
Yuchenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Flickman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, are there, if you guys look at the agenda, are there any employment issues that need to be handled individually for anyone? No? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the employment of bus monitor Christian Shaw?
I like it.
Okay, and junior high track assistant coach Martin Giannotti, and to accept Jillian Hawk as volunteer high school cheerleading assistant coach.
So moved.
Second.
Hanson,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flickling,
Yes.
Diachenko.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next up is substitute compensation. And we looked back and we discussed, when we discussed that like last October, I don't know why nothing ever happened. Was it because we were starting negotiations and it was
Right.
part of they were gonna discuss and it just got forgotten?
So it didn't
I mean-
get forgotten. It was one of those things, we weren't sure where the raises were gonna end up.
Okay.
And you guys didn't want to push a significant amount of money.
Yeah, not knowing what we'd end up with.
Correct.
Okay.
Also, there was a referendum out there. that
Yeah,
we were waiting to see.
true. It's just, like I said, me and Larry were like, we remember talking about this. What do you mean we didn't do
And
it?
I did have Kara look back at it. The last time it was raised $5 from 90 to 95, and that was, what did I tell you guys, 6 years ago? Mr. Cox's first year, so 5, 6 years ago. So it has stayed status quo for at least 5 years at $95. And as the document I provided you, the finance meeting, we are very, very, very dead last. Okay. So what I did do is I didn't bring my computer, so instead I have it on my phone, I apologize. I went back and I provided you guys the exact same document with the days, with the $95 a day compensation. I did omit the subs who do the FMLA leaves, because with us, once you do 10 consecutive days, you then become a VA step 1 per diem. So they are outside the $95. And so what it is, I actually gave you guys a couple numbers. I know at that meeting you guys discussed 115, because that would bump you at least into the bottom third as opposed to being dead last. It's kind of like the Bears winning the game. And so I gave you a number at $115. And then I also gave you, and I believe it was either Brandon, it might have been you, Ashley, who said, what about the incentive?
Yep.
And there was an incentive provided as an option a couple of years ago. So what I actually did was say, okay, let's do an incentive at 115 and an incentive at 125. So after 25 days of subbing, you automatically, because of your commitment to it, would jump to this pay now. And so I kind of gave you guys some options that you can look at and discuss.
Is that 25 days not in a
No,
row? Because
in general.
so just for the year
Correct, in general.
out of
So
180?
hopefully you're not.
I mean, is that
subbing
enough?
180.
Well, no, I'm just saying 25 out of 180 is not a lot. I mean, isn't the goal to entice people to just work like for us all the time? Like, do we
Yeah.
have enough business
What's the
to?
limit? Because you can't sub every day. in the
Yeah,
same
I think it's
district. Is it 100?
100.
I think it's 100 days in the same district.
Yeah, I think they upped it just, it might be
Without being hired as
one.
like-
Yeah.
You know who should know that? Superintendent of schools should know that.
Well, I
But
was
no,
thinking
they-
make it to where it is an incentive, like,
Well,
something that's a little harder maybe to achieve where they
So
come
only
to us
10
first.
people, only 10 people actually qualified for that incentive. And so, I don't know if you want to go to 115 and do the incentive,
Yeah.
or if you want to just jump right to not do any kind of incentive. We're also, full disclosure, I reached out to a company I used to use in one of my old districts. Frontline is,
ASOP.
I use that.
ASOP,
Mhm, I
it's
use that.
Frontline. It is something that I brought up to Mr. Cox 5 years ago. I know he
How
brought
much
it.
is it?
That's what I gotta find out. At the time, when he and I looked into it, it was about $7,000 to $8,000.
Yeah, but I
for
can't
that.
imagine, I mean, we pay Ms. Weiss so much anyway for her stipend to do it, but I can't imagine just trying to cold call subs or whatever like that. So, I love the app, like, even when I was
Yeah.
subbing before I taught, you could go on there and you could look and you would pick days and it was like, you just got to do what you know.
And that's the problem that Kathy's run into
Yeah.
is, I mean, she has her sub pool, but her sub pool is a very shallow pool because it's basically people who've always been with us or who know us. And all due respect to Will County, their sub list is got, we have teachers who have come here, worked here, and now have moved on to Hanover 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We're still on the sub list from Will County because they haven't updated it.
And I can't imagine, how does she
So-
have the time to do that? Like, That's so much time, like, and
Right.
teach full-time. It's not like that's her only job, I mean.
Right. So I think your guys' approved stipend for is about $3,600.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, if it's $7,000 or $8,000, if we take away the stipend, then they're stuck in, just for the headache and maybe to be able, like you said, build the clientele and stuff like that, because I've noticed just the past couple of years, we've gotten, my own district, so many new subs.
Yeah.
And we don't, pay a crazy amount, but I think it is honestly that you can just go on there and look and choose, and sometimes as soon as I post it, it's picked up, I mean.
And one of the things I have requested of Frontline when I meet with them on Monday is, we do have some older subs who are phenomenal subs. Ms. Ollendorf is phenomenal. She's here when we need her. Miss Hewitt, I know she's not older, but she's great. Miss Wade, they're not part of this program. So I want to make sure that either A, we can incorporate them into the program if you guys choose to move towards the program, or if it's, we would make sure that we continue to take care of our own during that process. But again, obviously that's not the conversation here. I apologize. I just want to let you guys know that is something I'm also looking to address. Because we are, quite frankly, out of subs.
Yeah.
We've had, how many days so far in a row, how many days in a row have we had where we've not been fully staffed?
Between the 3 buildings? Oh,
I think every day. I wouldn't assume that you've been fully staffed one day.
No, I just mean, I think you mean having enough subs.
Yeah.
Oh.
To where we're not having to pull some
I can't
old
remember.
people and putting classes together.
Oh, that's the,
We auditorium at one sub, one auditorium,
Yep.
and multiple classes.
And again, we're not the only school district that's running into
Yeah.
this problem, obviously. I mean, look at tonight, we have 2 of our board members who are out because of, it's,
Yeah.
this was Eric, I know you're wearing a mask. I mean,
Wearing a mask.
it's weathers are changing, people are getting, kids are getting sick, so they gotta stay home with their kids. It happens.
so you said you would have about 10 subs that would be qualified maybe
That would
for this
qual-
incentive. How many
Yeah.
do we have, like, in the district that are kind of like our main subs?
High school, you probably have, fair to say, 4 that you see on a regular
I was gonna
basis.
say 4 or 5 that are.
And then junior high, you have close to that, but maybe.
Same thing, I mean, but we got.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're shared.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah, so let's say you have probably a solid 10 to 12 people that you probably call and could get to work every single day.
And all those would probably, so the ones that come are the ones that would qualify for that incentive anyways.
Yeah. And I would also say, like, Miss Hewitt right now is covering an FMLA.
Mhm.
She's obviously surpassed her 25 days. She wouldn't be, she's not on the numbers I provided you, but if I were to pull her out and she were to go sub for, I don't know, Mr. Du Bois,
Mhm.
she would then qualify for that incentive. Or Miss Wade, right now, she's been with us for a year.
Do most districts do an incentive like that?
All of them do.
I do like the idea of having subs that are kind of committed to us, that are familiar with us. I feel like that's a lot easier for the kids to transition as well, instead of having a fresh face all the time.
Yeah.
So I do kind of like the incentive idea.
So how many days do we want to put for the incentive? Keep it at 25, more or less?
The reason I came up
Is
with,
there an average?
Yeah, like how many days have they been here or
No
like,
idea.
Like you said, they can only do 100,
like every day, so they pretty much,
Yeah. but it would,
So they
it's
would
a good
rebate their
incentive
money.
to try to get more, like, the incentive is honestly not for the subs we already have, it's for,
Right, to
to
get more.
entice
Right.
more.
I'm just trying to get an average of how
Yeah.
often.
and you wanna make it low enough to where if I'm here for a few days,
Right.
and I cover, if I cover
Yeah.
for Miss Bell for
Yeah.
3 days, I know it's 22 days away, but it's a good place. I'm gonna
Yeah.
come, if I know I'm gonna jump up $20.
And the 65 days that the own staff have to cover, that's a lot
Yeah,
to give up your free period,
yeah.
to have to cover other classes, and then go back and teach your own and do your hallway duty and everything else.
Yeah. And Ms. Diachenko, I assume you mean a lot means both financially and mentally draining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's nice to get sub pay when, it's a little extra,
Yeah.
but it is a lot of money to pay your internal and however. But then it's just more work. If we can attract even 4 more people to come, that would probably cover.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to ask of your own staff to.
Or admin, I mean,
Yeah.
most of the time our admin are
Say
pulled,
no.
yeah.
That's the other thing, say no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
teachers have rights to say no.
They can
Principal-
say no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 It's not- it can-
Yeah, if you
not
can't
contractual.
fill, then you're talking your administrators,
Yeah.
which means if something happens,
Yeah.
You're losing.
you don't have them, because we only have one administrator per building. So that also puts you in a difficult situation when things arise. Because it's not like that admin can now leave their class to go to their crisis.
Well, I feel like with what you guys have already said tonight, with having so many subs already and everything with the, 'tis the season, everybody being sick and out, I think 25 is fair. To
Days.
be able to,
Especially-
yeah, to be able to make sure we have enough coverage and hopefully entice some more people to sign up.
And is everyone good with 115? If
Yeah.
that puts us kind of in, like,
Yeah.
you know, we're not super raising, we're the top of the pack, but we're no longer the bottom anymore.
So wait a second, your 115, is that after 25 days?
No,
or
that's-
Okay,
And
so
then with
you're,
the 25 days, we go to 125.
Yeah,
Yes.
we gotta get them somehow.
Is that because you said we couldn't go higher?
you can go as high as you'd like.
You can,
So
but,
what I referenced was, I'm sorry, Ms. Westmead,
Oh, you're
I
fine.
apologize.
You know where I'm
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
Yeah, I do. What I was referencing was, if you go to the very bottom of the instructional assistant pay rate,
Yeah.
and you extrapolate that out for 7.5 hours, that would be, that's exactly 115.83.
Right.
Pay. Now, the other aspect of that is, they also have insurance benefits, they have IMRF, there's
Okay.
at the end of the day, I know, I don't want to devalue their importance to our district, it's very important that they're here, but when I say that,
Their benefits package is part of it.
right, they don't make $115 a day, they
Right.
get $115 in payment, and then life
Yeah.
insurance, IMRF, all those
Yeah.
additional things.
Okay.
okay, so I need a motion to approve an increase in substitute pay to $115 per day with an additional $10 incentive once they have subbed for over 25 days in our district, making it $125 per day.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry?
Well, so, just so, before you vote, I just want to make sure you guys are clear on how I'm going to implement this. I'm going to implement this from first day of school. So if I've had a sub here
Okay.
for 20 days, they only have to give me 5 more days. Unless you are going to direct me to, say, Jack, it starts effective today. Okay, so the 25, now, the 115 will start today. But the incentive of 25 days will start from the beginning of the year. In other words, it is a massive headache to go back
Yeah.
and count days
Right.
and do retro.
And
But-
separate them out.
So if they sub tomorrow, well, what's new payroll's just run, so this week? Whatever the new payroll is, whoever's there is 115, and if they happen to be tomorrow's their 25th day, that individual is now 125. Everybody's cool with that?
Yeah.
All right, please vote. Run the first name.
I got it. Spelled, I know,
Yes.
but I was not paying attention. Missouri,
Yes.
Flickling.
Yes.
Diachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so other discussion items, personnel committee meeting dates. Need one of those?
I do, we need to talk about the SRO position and a few positions that are going to be,
Necessary or
one of the-
open?
Is there other items?
Yeah, other discussion
Oh,
items
okay.
on it.
Well, there should be another, there was one other thing I wanted to tell you guys we're doing. But there's also the art position, I wanna have that formal discussion with you guys at the elementary. There is a need for a special ed position at the elementary kindergarten level. That is the only grade that is shared with a sped person, it's a first and kindergarten level. And then a spot at the junior high. So, kind of have a couple spots that are high needs, and so I want to make sure everybody's on the same page before we.
Personnel is there,
Larry,
I think, correct?
I thought it was Mandy.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Larry.
Okay. I can reach out to Larry.
I should really print that off, so I have it.
I have it printed in my office, does that count?
No, it does not.
You guys don't have it?
Yes, personnel is Larry, me, and Adriana. I thought it was Larry.
Would me and Adriana like to choose a date and see if?
It's really up to Larry. I know probably Adriana's probably good if it's after school, and same with me.
Depends if it's a day of that out.
How soon are you looking to do this?
The SRO conversation needs to have sooner than later, because they're going to want to start engaging you guys with a plan if you guys want to move forward with it.
Okay.
I have not been given anything from the village, so I'm waiting for Mr. Barber to give me the information. I would like to have it, next board meeting is what day?
It is November the
13th?
13th.
Monday the 13th, those are the worst. I mean,
If you wanna do it early,
it's gonna be an executive session, so I mean,
Like
we'll have
middle.
minutes in it. Well, there'll be some open session because not everything's gonna be directly linked to an individual, but mostly. So, I know we try to accommodate the public, but it's not like it's not like a finance one where you wanna make sure people have that availability.
So like
to do
next week or the week after?
I can do Friday the 27th, because I have an institute, so I can be here at Valley.
They don't have, there's no school that day. Or do you guys have teacher institute that day? I know there's no
Which
school.
one's-
It's
which one's-
parent
Yeah,
teacher.
conference.
Oh, yeah, conference.
I
Yeah.
have institute, so I'm out of the 20.
Yeah, we have a morning with teachers, and then the afternoon is off for teachers, but.
Why would it be after 4?
I can do it.
4 or after. And I don't want to do 4 after on Friday, so
Okay.
moving on.
You said it, not me. I cannot do well, respectfully, if I cannot be here for Halloween on an evening, that'd be great. I would like to be with my kids, but I understand. Monday the 30th I can do, the 1st I can't, I'm picking up my parents from the airport. Or I can get them to walk. I can do the 2nd.
Adriana, what's it look like for the 30th?
I can do no, I don't, I can do the 2nd.
Does that work?
Works
No,
for
your
me.
parents will be here.
No, they'll be home by then.
Okay.
They don't like me that much.
Okay. So November
Let me
2nd,
see.
4 p.m. As long as it works with Larry?
Yeah.
Okay.
4?
Yep.
I can get here by 4.
First, no, that's 2, no, 2.
Okay. Is there anything else on other discussion items?
I did want to let you guys know, I did have a conversation with sorry, I'm trying to get there we go, it was on the wrong calendar. Mike, have patience with me, bud, come on. Man, that's pressure. As you guys know, Ms. Zillendorf is retiring at the end of the year. She is our technology teacher at the elementary/junior high. We are going to post that position internally first. Probably gonna do that next week, just to see if we have any internal candidates before we move forward with anybody on the external. So I'm probably just gonna do that over the next month. And if we find there's a phenomenal candidate, if they apply, I will be bringing that name for you guys to be effective next year.
Okay.
So, just gonna give you guys a heads up.
So items for the November 13th board meeting.
Do we need to have a finance meeting again because of the,
Not till we have information from them, I would assume, right? Or will we do?
Well, I mean, you're gonna need to have one, yeah. Let me find out from Nate and or Steve, a solid timeline. Because like I said, January is when we would sell them, so as long
Yeah.
as we have a plan moving forward, they probably were looking to have a January board approval of selling the bonds. So I'll talk to Nate and Steve. We probably don't need to have one before November.
Okay.
If so, I'll reach out to the
Yeah.
finance.
Okay, so items for November would be.
We have the audit for you guys. That was officially done, we got it Tuesday morning. There was a error on their end that they go, oh, fiddlesticks, sorry, and then they got it back to us. So I just delivered it to the ROE yesterday. They obviously weren't gonna turn around and come back the very next day, so
Yeah.
November the audit will be here.
Okay.
To talk to you guys about all the wonderful things that Katie did the past year to make sure that we stayed above board, and how Mike Peters manages to continue to do great things for us. Anything else in November?
Just your conference.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have all answers you need for that?
I believe so.
Okay.
We have all four of you guys are, Saturday, just Saturday is Ms.
Just
Pizarnik,
Saturday.
Diachenko, and Ms. Hanson.
Is there like a set schedule, or do we just like attend whatever we feel
There is, they'll actually, I'll see if I can find, I don't think they've released the actual schedule of events, but yeah, on Saturday, they'll have, like, from 8 to 9, you can go to one of these 10 things, and then from.
There's, the best thing I tell you, there's an app.
Yep.
You can download, and because everything is color coordinated based on the category, like rule is one color, SEL is another one, and then it'll also have everything listed where it's at for everything, so you can kind of pick and choose everything across the board.
And is it all in, I'm assuming it's all in hotels?
Yes.
Hotels.
Yes.
Multiple
So,
hotels.
The Swiss Hotel and.
Hyatt.
And the Hyatt are on one side of the river, and then the Sheridan's on the other, it's all three of those.
But they're all, I mean, within a block of
Right.
each other, not even. But it'll tell you that too, and what time and what room
I
and.
assumed it was McCormick Place.
Oh, no.
I was thinking.
That would be nice if it was all one building.
That's usually where I go to conventions
Yeah.
at,
Yeah. No, it's in Chicago,
Yep.
Okay. Up in there, so that's it. Right? Okay.
Right.
So adjournment, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Signed up?
Yeah.
This doesn't, wait,